everyone. Here's what's coming up tonight on News Center Now. Residents in One Main City will hear results for the first time from an air quality sample program.
Plus, a new round of tariffs kicks in next month. One Mainer asks us, where does all that money go? We have the answer for you. This is News Center Now.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Lindsay Mills.
And I'm Clay Gordon in for Lee Nelson. The city of Portland is mourning the death of a public works employee. According to the city, Martin Din was killed Sunday when he was struck and killed by the trash truck he had been driving. Now, the tragic accident happened at a public works facility on District Road. The 46-year-old was nearing the end of his shift, and he had just exited the vehicle before it hit him. He was found a few hours later by a person who had come to the facility to load materials. Din had been a city employee for about a year. He worked for the Public Works Department's Solid Waste Division as a maintenance worker. Planned Parenthood's decision to forego millions of dollars of federal funding has a lot of you talking.
This comes after Maine Family Planning's decision to withdraw from Title X funding last month. That means a total of 22 clinics across the state will lose funding for certain family planning services. The decision is because of a gag rule put in place by the Trump administration. It prohibits these facilities from referring women for abortions. Planned Parenthood made the announcement yesterday after a court of appeals turned down its request to reverse the restriction. Maine Family Planning saying as of yesterday it is officially out of Title X, quote, more in sorrow than in anger. Enforcement of this rule nationwide officially starts in a little less than a month on September 18th. Tonight, residents and leaders in One Main City will hear results for the first time of a new air monitoring program.
Yeah, South Portland City Council holding the public workshop at 6:30, where members of the Maine Department of Environmental Protection will reveal their early findings. Over the last 2 months, residents have volunteered to collect air samples using single-use canisters. The fire department and DEP also collected samples. The air samples were analyzed by the DEP at its air lab in Augusta to determine any potential health risks.
This after residents have expressed concerns over strong odors from nearby industrial emissions. The city council will not be taking any action tonight, but will use the information from the DEP to help decide what needs to be done next. We have much more on this story at the Now section of our website and mobile app. All right, it really is hot and sticky out there.
Yeah, but I felt a little bit more comfortable than what we saw yesterday. Let's check in with Keith, who's got
Clay was right.
The very latest.
Clay was right. All right. Lindsay, is that a dress that my wife gave you by chance?
It's definitely something Paula would rock.
Okay, but no.
for once, it's mine.
It's not.
Something Paula gave me. She did give me plenty of stuff.
My wife had been passing along pregnancy, and she had that exact dress.
Really?
Yeah, I remember that.
By the way, Keith, I'm still waiting for those suits.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the paternity suits.
We got size problems there, Clay. You can make a suit smaller, but not bigger. That's the issue. We got to 85 today, 85 in Sanford as well, and 81 in Augusta. But to Clay's point, actually, dew points were down significantly, so it felt a lot more comfortable for most of us. It's still in the low 80s inland, mid 80s. Brunswick at 84 degrees there, and 81 in Bangor at this hour as well. The sun angle is slowly waning, unfortunately, this time in August, and so even in the middle of the day, it doesn't feel quite as hot when it's in the mid 80s. Look at this satellite, ridiculous. There is nothing going on anywhere in New England. You can only tell the satellite's working because of a few clouds there and a few back behind me in the ocean. So overnight tonight is clear. It's a pleasant night. Because dew points are relatively low, temperatures will drop into the 50s for most of us by tomorrow morning. We start tomorrow with a little bit of sunshine. It's not a bad first half of the day, but we destabilize the atmosphere in the afternoon and deal with some showers and thunderstorms later in the day. And this model, as well as the Storm Prediction Center, as well as the European model, are all pretty hot on the idea, guys, of some severe storms tomorrow afternoon. So we'll talk a little bit more about that risk in just a few minutes.
All right, Keith, something to look out for. Appreciate it.
Back to the headlines now. Juul's New York headquarters surrounded by protesters today, calling on City Council to pass measures restricting flavored tobacco products. City Council member Mark Levine joined a group called Parents Against Vaping E-Cigarettes, or PAVE, at the demonstration. Two teens there shared their experiences with nicotine addiction and explained why they believe flavored tobacco products should be banned.
And then there's this, a serious wildfire causing about 9,000 people to evacuate several areas of the Canary Islands in Spain. Over 700 firefighters are struggling to put out the blaze, which is one of the biggest fires in the last 6 years in the country. The fire began on Saturday evening and has spread to an area of about 40 square miles, blocking off around 20 roads.
There are potential troubles ahead for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Extreme heat and water quality top that list. Soaring temperatures have killed at least 57 people across Japan since late July. National Olympic Committees reduced the distance of one race because of heat concerns and canceled a swimming segment because of high levels of E. coli found in the water. However, officials are confident their hosts will find solutions ahead of next year's Summer Games.
Maine's wild blueberries did not make the cut to qualify for assistance from retaliatory trade tariffs. Maine Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry Commissioner Amanda Beal calls the Department of Agriculture's decision, quote, faulty. Beal says the reasoning is because wild blueberries are included in other assistance programs and believes growers deserve the same direct payments approved for sweet cherry, cranberry and grape growers. News Center Maine's Don Kerrigan is following this decision. He'll have more at 6. We got an email from Kathy wondering, where does the money collected from tariffs go? What agency or group gets the actual cash, and how are the funds used? Well, let's follow the money, starting with what is a tariff? According to the Office of the United States Trade Representative, an industrial tariff is customs duties or taxes on non-agricultural merchandise imports, such as lawnmowers, cars, shoes, IT, wood products, fish and fish products, and the list goes on and on and on. Well, those products come over, in this case from China, to a U.S. port. The American importer pays the tariff. Well, typically the importer absorbs the cost of a product, narrowing the profit margin so the cost doesn't get passed on to us. Well, sometimes the exporter even lowers the original price so the importer continues to buy it. President Trump announcing this month the U.S. is tacking on a new 10% tariff on billions of dollars worth of Chinese-made goods. The president later delayed some of the tariffs until December 15th. According to J.P. Morgan, the new tariffs between September 1st and mid-December will impact the average American household by $1,000 per year. But getting back to Kathy's question now, where does the money collected at the port go? U.S. Customs and Border Protection collects the tax on imports, and it goes to the U.S. Treasury. Well, as of June, the U.S. Treasury has received more than $63 billion from tariffs over the last year. And we do have more information on products affected by tariffs on our website. And if you have questions you want to be answered, email us at asknow@newscentermaine.com.
Facebook is launching a long-promised tool that lets users block the social network from gathering information about them on outside websites and apps. This as the social media giant faces increasing governmental scrutiny over its privacy practices. Facebook says it is adding a place where users can see the activity it tracks outside its service. If they want, they can turn it off. The feature is now available in South Korea and Ireland and Spain. The company did not give a timeline for when it might expand to other countries, only that it will be coming in recent months.
Meanwhile, Facebook and Twitter have taken action against accounts that they say were part of a Chinese disinformation campaign. Twitter announced today it suspended more than 200,000 accounts. The social media giant said it believes the accounts were part of a Chinese government campaign targeting the protest movement in Hong Kong. The company also said it will ban ads from state-backed media companies. After being notified by Twitter and conducting its own investigation, Facebook said it also was taking action. Facebook removed several pages and accounts, but does not ban ads from state-owned media companies. Well, Spotify giving parents more control over their kids' playlists. That story is coming up.
And later, a memorable moment for a band, a hit song, and a horse all at once. Welcome back. A new feature coming to Spotify, giving parents more control over their children's access.
Yeah, Spotify's premium family plan will soon have parental controls such as explicit content filters setting on their sub accounts. Now, once a feature is turned on, the filter cannot be turned off unless the account administrator does so. So while Spotify has a content filter already in place, this is the first time that parents can set it up on their kids' accounts. The company is also introducing a feature called Family Mix, which generates a family-friendly playlist. The updates are expected to roll out in the U.S. this fall. Well, Apple's credit card is officially available today for all U.S. customers.
Yeah, they can now apply for Apple Card through the Wallet app on iPhones and start using it right away. The Apple Card, in partnership with Goldman Sachs, has no annual late or over the limit fees attached. It can be used with Apple Pay in stores, in apps, and on websites. Earlier this month, Apple previewed the card and invited a limited number of customers to apply at that time. Now it is open to all eligible customers with iPhone 6 and later.
Toy maker Hasbro plans to eliminate plastic from its toys and games packaging starting in 2020. The company will begin phasing out plastic elements like poly bags, elastic bands, shrink wrap, window sheets, and blister packs. By the end of 2022, the company says it hopes to have plastic-free packaging for all new products. Hasbro says while redesigning all packaging is a complex challenge, it's committed to protecting the environment. The company also recently launched a recycling program that enables parents to donate old Hasbro toys to be transformed into playgrounds, park benches, flower pots, and more.
That's really interesting, just in time for us.
Yeah, not as hot as those metal slides, too.
No,
which,
yeah.
That might be nice. Well, coming up, a man that paid it forward in Machias is getting lots of loving on social media.
Sure is. And hopefully Keith has a forecast that we'll love. That's next.
So I've heard of whiskey for my men, beer for my horses. But in this story, a horse walks into a bar and it's actually not a joke.
It's a true story, and just wait till you see what brought this horse in the bar in the first place.
Longtime musician C.J. Edwards has seen a thing or two, but nothing quite like what happened early Sunday morning at the Bourbon Street Drinkery.
I've never seen a horse come in a club to dance. We must have played one of his favorite tunes because he rushed in here.
The song his band was playing, you likely know it, Old Town Road.
Even the horse felt the music. He came in and was just like juggling his head and dancing, and it was touching.
We found out the horse's name is Ace. His partner in crime fighting is NOPD officer Joseph Jones.
That particular night, they happened to be playing Old Town Road. So he had to go up in there to find out what was going on. He realized there was no end of the road up in there, so he backed out and went back to work.
The perfect timing of it all made for a funny moment, but it's also part of the horse's training.
We give the horses certain commands, and while the music is playing, we entertain the crowd, we're having fun with it as well. So it's mainly making sure we're able to maintain control in any type of situation.
Ace first went viral a while back when he started dancing at a school. Again, even the dancing is part of the training. Officer Jones showed me how.
If you come step there, you're gonna be good. And if you was acting up, I could get close enough to where you're not going anywhere. So it looks as if they're dancing, but it's part of the training to make sure we be able to get control of the crowd.
Officer Jones is glad he and Ace were able to make some folks laugh, especially after a weekend where there wasn't much to laugh about.
It's more good news than bad news, and that's one way of showing that we all can get along together.
Now, it's not all good news for the song Old Town Road. 17-year-old Billie Eilish and her hit single Bad Guy dethroned that song from the top spot on the charts. Old Town Road was #1 for a record 19 weeks in a row.
Wait, that's a record for Billboard in general?
I'm not sure.
I'll have to look this up.
19 weeks in a row
That's
is
a
a pretty long time.
That's a long time, but I feel like back in the day, it would be more possible because music wasn't churned out and made available as quickly.
Sure.
Like nowadays, to hold for 19 weeks is really saying something.
I used to check the charts quite often.
Yeah.
Did
Was that when you were a DJ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love doing that.
I'm very in on seeing this, by the way.
What?
You DJing.
Oh, that's
like-
a lifetime ago.
Nope, it's like riding a bike. Are you ready to go? Teach the baby to DJ.
I'm right there with you, Keith.
I'm all about Lee J, the DJ.
Yeah,
Is
that's true.
Oh.
That is. I think you'd be a good DJ. He'd probably be funny to watch. You'll wear earplugs at some point, but it won't be because you're being a DJ in the next 4 or 5 weeks, probably. All right, here's a look at the high temperatures today into the mid-80s. Nice day today, beautiful. Sunshine wall to wall, and the dew points were down. So it was noticeably more comfortable today than it was yesterday, even though temperatures exceeded our highs yesterday. They're in the mid-50s dew points are, so it's not, crisp, but it's pretty comfortable still. Look at the satellite, nothing going on. Some clouds way out to sea, that's about it. So the rest of today into tonight will be clear. We start off tomorrow morning actually on a pretty good note, upper 50s, low 60s. Clouds start increasing though in the afternoon, and then here comes some showers and thunderstorms. As I mentioned before, the models are pretty hot on the idea of severe weather tomorrow afternoon. I think the timing is going to be the key here. If this trough is a little delayed and we're looking at trying to move these things through, say 7 to 8 p.m., I think it's not going to be as severe. But if we can get them through 4, 5, 6 o'clock, I do think we have damaging straight line winds as a possibility and maybe some rotation in them like what we saw yesterday with those storms. So I'll keep an eye on those. We'll track them for you tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow night. And then things settle down a bit. Thursday looks pretty good along the coastline, back into the mid 80s. Isolated sprinkle in the mountains, but the vast majority of us stay dry through Thursday, through Friday, and straight into the weekend, although temperatures do dip quite a bit by the weekend. Here's your severe weather risk. Now this doesn't look like much, right? We're 1 out of a scale of 5, but I will tell you that 5 never happens. So it's kind of like an arbitrary thing. In the Northeast, you almost never get above a 3. That's a moderate risk. So painting almost all of Maine in the yellow risk is significant as far as it goes. You go down to Oklahoma, you'll see these higher risk zones, but we just don't see them here. So the Storm Prediction Center seems to think it's a big deal, so we'll keep an eye on it through tomorrow afternoon. Temperature trend up through Thursday and then much cooler Saturday and Sunday. And I will take the under on these model temperatures here, and maybe here. So I think we'll be in the 60s for Sunday afternoon. It'll be a great day for football, but they're not playing yet, right? I mean, they're playing preseason.
There's preseason games.
Yeah. I'm not that devoted to watch preseason games, but it's a nice weekend. I just put fallish, though, on Sunday, and I think that continues into Monday. I kind of dig this week. We've had a little of everything. We've had a couple of hot days, nice sunny day like today, and then cooler for the end of the week. So it's not as, picture perfect as a few weeks we've had, but from my standpoint, keeps it interesting at least.
Yeah, switches it up.
Yeah, it keeps you on your toes.
It keeps, like
you have to actually pay
afternoon.
attention.
Yeah, tomorrow afternoon we might have to bring somebody else in, like 2 people, so we'll keep an eye on it.
Very interesting. Yeah. All right, Keith, thanks.
Thanks, man. Well, people enjoying breakfast at a restaurant in Machias got a special treat Monday morning when one customer paid for everyone's meal.
Yeah, around 9 tables of people were treated to this act of generosity by a complete stranger at the Bluebird Ranch Family Restaurant. Danica Foss works at the restaurant and says the man who she served was in his 60s and he dined there alone. When he was all done with his meal, he told Foss he wanted to pay for the meals of everyone who was in the diner at that time. The tab ended up being around $200. The man left the diner before anyone realized he'd paid for their meals, not wanting any recognition for this kind act.
And now, after the restaurant posted this to their Facebook page, people were quick to praise this kindness and share stories of others who have done similar things.
That's so sweet. Well, Mainers love the gorgeous summer months, of course, because we work for them during the winter, but maybe a little too obsessed with them, according to comedian Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah, Gaffigan calls out Bangor in his new Amazon special, and surprisingly, he even pronounces Bangor the right way.
Good for him.
Gaffigan visited Bangor in February and said all anyone could talk about was summer and how he should come back in the warm summer months. His response was, quote, "I didn't want to come the first time." And later added that there are only 13 days of summer here anyway. You can find the full bit on Bangor on our website and on our mobile app.
He should probably stop at the Dice Arts too and get some breakfast.
And get some fodder for his next
Exactly.
job. Yeah.
Well, California's controversial emoji house is up for sale. The bubblegum home with 2 giant emojis is located in a ritzy section of Manhattan Beach. Neighbors believe the homeowner painted the house after being reported for illegally listing their home on Airbnb and receiving a $4,000 fine. The homeowner, however, insists that this emoji house was created to brighten up the neighborhood. The home, which is just a few blocks from the beach, is listed at $1.7 million.
Well, I'm happy you clarified that because the graphic said $1 billion, and I don't know.
Really?
anyone that would pay over 1.7 million, let alone.
You would really need to Airbnb out your place if it cost that much.
Can you imagine how much that would be?
Yeah.
All right, Pat Callahan is in now with a look at what's coming up in just a few minutes. Hey, Pat.
Hey, Clay and Lindsay. It is a landmark in Casco Bay, and now there's word that a developer is floating ideas about putting commercial development at Fort Gorges as part of an effort to preserve the fort. We will take a look into that. Well, there's nothing like a little color to make a workplace more pleasant. One of the justices on the Maine Supreme Court has made it her mission to brighten things up in a spot that can be relentlessly beige. And can you be forced to follow the president on social media? That's a claim that's going around. Our Verify team will look into that. It's all coming up just a couple of minutes on News Center at 5:30.
Pat, thanks so much. If last night's raindrops shocked you, just wait for tonight. We'll see what Keith has in store when we come back. I try not to.
So this is a great picture. You're going to love how I found this. WGME posted it last night, but they missed the most interesting part of the photo. They're like, cool lightning strike, and I was like, yeah, what about this? Let's bring this full screen if we can. It's very, very subtle. But if you look closely to where I've outlined and I've drawn in the circle, the arrows, that
You're really good at drawing.
that is a streamer.
That's nice.
That is a streamer coming off the vehicle.
Oh,
Let's go down. There we go. Okay. See, this is the front of the car,
I
just for
see.
perspective. This is the windshield. You can see the reflection of a speaker there. This is a streamer coming up and trying to meet the lightning strike. So the way lightning works is objects send up little streamers, pieces of positive energy, come off cars, they come off humans, and whatever streamer is the easiest way for the lightning, it will connect, and that's where lightning hits. So in short, essentially, her car was sending a signal out, hey, you can hit me, but the building sent out a better signal and it hit the building. You do not see these captured very often at all. It is extremely rare,
So rare.
to catch it, especially with an iPhone, where your exposure is quick. This is not time lapse. So that blew me away. And just to give credit, this is Karen Varney who sent it in Augusta. So the lightning strike is cool, but to catch that streamer on the way up from a stepladder to the north to the in the cloud is just unbelievable.
Well, question for you: what gives the lightning the appearance that it's coming down?
It's just your eyes,
Okay.
and it's not equal. They don't meet in the middle, so it is coming down farther than it is coming up. But if you get slow it down, you'll see it meeting. If you ever see somebody's hair stand up, outside, that's sending a streamer off the top of their head, and that means you need to do this quickly or get out of there, because it's trying to make that connection. So I thought this was pretty tremendous.
Well, luckily for those car owners, it didn't hit their car.
It was all good. Yeah, it was all good.
We'll stick with party streamers for now.
Yeah.
Thanks, Keith. News Center Maine at 5:30 starts right now.